Tune into news across the galaxy where they talk all things LA Galaxy with the Nag Boys. Let's start nagging.
What a ball from Ricky Peach.
News across the galaxy. Keep on nagging, guys. Your six-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
When you thought El Trafico couldn't shock you anymore, they do it once again, and another thriller, and another tie, and it was all right. Welcome to News Across the Galaxy, where we talk all things LA Galaxy. I am one of your hosts, Bryant Lobos, and tonight joining me to talk about last night's match is Mr. Edgar Zuniga. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm all right. I'm still trying to digest what I saw just 24 hours ago. I think the best way to describe it is as the crew that was doing the game said, "It's one thing you know about this game is to expect the unexpected, and that becomes something that's common every single time, or something like that."
Which is not far off of what really happened yesterday. It was a game with a lot of emotions. There was ups for the LA Galaxy fans. There was downs. Of course, the result was favorable. But before we get all into that, we do have... Oh, shit. Not that one. Never produce your own shows. You know how you know we're live? The music was too loud.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get into some stuff before the match. Leading up to the match, I don't recall a Trafico with not that many emotions leading up to this one. I don't think there was that actual hate, because usually when we play these guys from Sunday, it starts, right? You throw out a tweet, hey, screw this team, da 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 da, right? I don't think this time around there was any of that. I know for one thing, the supporter groups weren't going to be in attendance, and you could really tell that there was an absence in that stadium. But Edgar, before the match, what did you see?
Well, in the week leading up, like you said, there wasn't that same hype that you usually get from El Tráfico. And it wasn't just Galaxy and LAFC fans saying this. It was also some of our friends from other podcasts said that same thing as well. They're like, this is the least hyped El Tráfico we've seen in a long time. So, and then on top of that, obviously, we had heard beforehand, like we mentioned in the midweek, was that the supporters from the V Block were not going to be in attendance, and as well as some other Galaxy fans that just decided not to attend the match. Obviously, some fans still went, but it wasn't the usual noisy group that we're used to at these matches, and it wasn't something that was ignored by LAFC because they took notice and they made their own statement ahead of the
Yeah.
match.
There was, for lack of better terminology, there was a lot of love from the opposition. Something that I thought I would never see, especially since how this rivalry started. Let's go through a little history. This team used to be they used to play in Carson, right? They used to play at the Digs or Home Depot Center back in the day. They dismantled, came in as if they owned the city, right? And we took offense to that. I mean, these are just realities that us as fans, felt. And it was really cool to see some love from the opposition. And I'm gonna show you guys a picture of what I mean by that. There
sometimes daily, depending on what's going on. Because you know, aside away from MLS, we're all citizens, we're all residents of LA County and California, and we've all been witness what's going on. So we all take we look out for each other. So it was kind of interesting heading up into this match, because after everything that happened in June and some of the stuff that continues to happen in the last few weeks, uh, everybody's noticing like, oh my god, we're all going through the same issue. Obviously, Galaxy didn't have any home games in June, so there was
Yeah,
always that curiosity about what was going to happen once fans started to show up for matches. But that's a lot of supporters said, "Nah, we're not going. We're boycotting because of this." But there was a rumor going around. There's something bigger, something deeper at play, and we're going to touch on that in a few minutes. But as far as LAFC and Galaxy is concerned, you know, it's funny. Somebody posted that picture of the Crips and the Bloods, showing peace before, this is way back when, right? But I
yeah.
think it was when I forgot who it was. Was it Snoop that brokered a deal or something like that, or I forgot who it was.
I really couldn't tell you because I just find it to be hilarious, and it really is that. As much as we like to talk shit about each other's clubs and who runs LA and all this, this back and forth, it's usually just maintains itself in the football aspect, right? Um, and it just so happens this time around, something bigger than football has happened in our city. And I know a lot of people are tired of the political talk and stuff, but this is something that's happening in our city and it's going on and affects a lot of us. So we can't ignore it. And so it was kind of a breath of fresh air to see a rival, like that whole Bloods and Crip thing. I thought it was pretty fun. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Um, you were saying, Edgar?
No, I was gonna say for one of the arguments, and I'm gonna keep it short because I don't want to delve into politics for too long. But some people are saying, well, if you're not illegal, if you're a citizen, you should you should worry about this because this is only targeting illegal criminals. First of all, illegal being an illegal alien is not a crime. That's a misdemeanor. First of all,
Yeah,
second of all, it's not just illegal aliens that are being targeted. It's people that are going in currently through the process of seeking either residency or becoming citizens, and they're being taken away at courthouses and at hearings where they're supposed to go as scheduled. And instead of going after criminals, they're going after people at their most vulnerable. And that, to me, smells of cowardice. So there you go, bunch of cowards, a bunch of Proud Boys playing cosplay, dressing up to to look like real federal agents, when in reality they're just living out some kind of wannabe GI Joe fantasy. And in reality, they're hurting their own people because these are future citizens that could benefit this nation.
yeah.
So that's another thing. But yeah, like I said, there's more to it because it wasn't just in LA. It's league wide, and in some clubs, it's not that big of a deal. But then in other places, it has become a big deal. And then there were rumors going around. I don't know if you want to get into it now, Bryant.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, there are rumors going around, right? That because LAFC came out right away and they're like, we stand shoulder to shoulder, like their slogan, with our community, throughout these difficult times. Or I'm paraphrasing, obviously. And then Angel City said something as well. And then it was just silence across the league, and everybody's like, "Well, LA Galaxy, can you guys say something?" And nothing. So some fans felt offended, rightly so, because you know think about how much time and money we've invested into this club, and how they love to use cultural moments and events to not only attract people to the stadium but to make money off of it. And here comes the club. At least give us a hey, we understand what's going on. We feel your pain. We heard it from the coaching staff. We heard it from maybe a few players here and there, but it's not the same, right? And then this weekend, I just happened to come across. I heard about it, but I didn't get a chance to until this afternoon. I mean, this weekend. I came across an article in Rolling Stone magazine, and the rumors were true. I had heard that the reason LAFC put out that statement, and then haven't really said much after, right? And the reason other clubs haven't said anything is because MLS came down hard on LAFC and told their clubs to stay quiet. But why?
Well, let me pull up the tweet that you had posted because I think that's
Yeah,
a
that's what I say. That's what I
big
was
thing,
saying. Put it
and
up.
it's not just out here in LA, right?
So,
Do it like this. Okay, I guess we gotta do it like this. They said no audio, so can you
no
guys hear
idea.
us
We
now?
cut to the graphics.
I
There we
know
go.
no audio when we cut the. But we'll keep it right here. All right, Edgar,
Yeah,
go
that's how
ahead.
you know it's pure. That's how you know it comes from the heart.
Yeah.
Well, as you guys can read, pretty much it says, and I'll read it one more time. Beyond LAFC, however, the league and its franchises have remained silent. Multiple sources within Major League Soccer tell Rolling Stone that both the league and the teams fear retaliation from the Trump administration, including treatment similar to that faced by the LA Dodgers, who were sued over alleged DEI practices by a conservative legal group founded by Trump immigration hawk and asshole Stephen Miller shortly after pledging $1 million to support LA's immigrant community. So there you go. There you have it. If
Yeah.
anybody's wondering, like, why is it that our teams aren't saying anything? Why is it that they're being so strict about these things? It's because they're afraid that the current administration will come down on them. And as you saw, the Dodgers, who obviously have a lot more clout than MLS in general, right? They even they felt the weight of this. So take it as you will. As this is the times that we're living in, people always tell us keep politics out of sports, right? Well, first of all, the politics is literally sticking its creepy fingers into our sport.
And it's
What are
not
we
just
gonna do? Ignore it?
our sport. I don't. You could probably talk more about this since you're a bigger Dodger fan than I am. By the way, I went to my first Dodger game on July 3rd because they had One Piece night. I think I mentioned this the last episode. And dude, I love the stadium. It's very old school, but I enjoyed my first baseball game ever. And by the way, I don't like baseball, and it was very
How
enjoyable.
dare you?
I know. So anyway, back to the point that you were saying. Back
Yeah,
back in those days, there was Jackie Robertson, right? A one of the first black players in Major League Baseball.
he
That is
was.
political. Another one, Muhammad Ali in boxing, and then you had these other Olympic racers who went through an Olympic where the
They were.
that
It was
old
a
German
Nazi
regime,
Germany.
the old German regime was. So if you want to keep politics out of sports, you really can't. This is a big stage where everybody could show where they stand and provide something for the community. And I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, Edgar.
Yeah, and it's not like people are complaining about every. Think about how we've had administrations in the past where maybe you don't like something that they do, right? It's not so serious that it affects you to the point where you have to make a public statement at a stadium or at a public event. But because these are things that, as Americans, we're like, okay, this is part of the process. We'll deal with it in accordance with the law, in accordance with how things are set up with the government. But when you start to see things like this happen, and you look at some of the lessons that have been learned from previous dictatorships and draconian governances, then you start to like make connections. And you're like, hey, what's going on here? There's a takeover going on in slow motion, and we're seeing it happen, and it's getting into our sport. But it's not just here. It's happening all across the league. We saw we heard what happened in Chicago. We heard what happened in Nashville. Even Austin got involved. I know some of the fans had to make some. They had to make some. They had to make some concessions in order to make their voices heard. Seattle has gotten into it as well, um, and I mean, we have pictures, right, Bryant? We could share, and we're gonna be quiet because we can't talk when these pictures are
No,
up.
no, no. I think I've been able to figure it out because
All right, there we go.
spoiler alert. I'm trying to produce and do all this at the same time, but I think I got it. So we're gonna go with the Seattle one, which was it's another rival, right?
Yeah, another rival.
We've had Seattle be a thorn in our side for the longest, and they kind of showed up and showed some support for the LA Galaxy. Let me pull up this picture. But in the meantime, Edgar, take us through what this means for MLS in general.
It just means that MLS has to be very careful, especially with a World Cup that's coming up. It's such a very uncomfortable, strange time. I know that I've been contacted by some pods and some fans from as far as St. Louis, New York, um, and everybody's just wondering like, what the hell is going on? This is really weird. Um, and we need to negotiate through this together because it doesn't just involve one team; it involves the entire league. And there's even a fan from St. Louis City, right, who said, this is so embarrassing, especially because the World Cup is coming here next year.
Hmm.
It makes the league look so soft. But then again, we're talking about Major League Soccer, compared to more powerful leagues and teams and franchises around the globe. What kind of clout is this team going to have? Especially when you look at the slime bag that is Infantino, rubbing elbows, with the Tangerine Palpatine. So I
The
mean,
Tangerine Palpatine.
it's just a mess. I wish we could just focus on sports. And I
Yeah,
promise you, we're gonna just focus on sports right now. But we need to get that out because it has to be said. We can't ignore these things. This is happening right here in real time in front of us. And if we don't say it, you're gonna see it somewhere. Whether you're for or against what's going on right now, you're gonna see it. And sometimes the truth is not comfortable. It bothers you, and you might not want to hear it, but it's there, and
yeah,
it's there, and you got to deal with it.
100%. And so here's a picture of even Seattle Sounders supporters um, making their voices heard. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear us because I am still trying to do something new here. But give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear us. Uh, yeah, when it comes to like Seattle and stuff, um, this is another situation where it's bigger than sports, right? I would like to not have any of this in the sport, but it's happening to us, and it's something that you can't ignore. And so the fact that these other clubs are supporting um, what the fight is, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and big ups to our buddy Cameron J. Collins, who covers Seattle. I think he's the president of ICS, which is the supporters club out there in Seattle, the Supporters Council. So it's not just him. Like I said, Jimmy, our buddy Jimmy King out in Philly, he also reached out and said that they're keeping eyes on things there as well. Bob Ventimiglia, who covers Red Bull New York, he's also like, I can't believe this is happening. This is horrible. We've
Yeah,
already heard from Matt Pollard. We've heard from Matt Baker. So everybody is like, what the hell, right? But we gotta reel things in.
yeah. Let's talk about
because
the good spot
there's
about
there's a
of our
lot of other
sport.
stuff that's going on as well. Obviously, we are news across the galaxy.
Yeah.
Something big happened tonight, right? Brian, can you tell us what happened, man?
Let me see if
Fresh
I could.
news. Do. Breaking news. It's straight from the dig.
Was it that we're not out of playoffs? Which one was it?
No, Toluca. You're gonna make me say it, dude.
Yes,
You're really gonna
you
make me.
have to. You have to say it, bro. I wasn't gonna say it. Go for it.
Really, you gotta say it about my boys there, man. Come on. Okay, Toluca beat Club America three
Yes,
to one tonight.
exactly. I would like to have everybody in the chat say "Chingue su madre la América."
How dare you? How dare you?
Well, take us
But
through it because this is your club that you support in Mexico. So, what
no,
happened today?
it's just weird. Sendejas got that first goal, and then after that, it was just like a debacle. Like, what the hell?
But see, by the way, the goal came in like under the minute, and from
Yeah,
there on, I thought, you know what, America's gonna just
yeah, they're
steamroll
gonna cruise,
Toluca.
man.
But you forgot
But
one important factor: the Gold Cup winner, the MVP of the Mexican national team, plays for Toluca. You guys did not take account for that. That aura is gonna stay with them for the rest of whatever season they have left. But 3-1, I think that's I wouldn't say embarrassing, but that's pretty embarrassing.
thanks. Well, for Galaxy fans, what that means is that we finally have an opponent for the Campeones Cup, which is scheduled, I guess, sometime this year, maybe August, September. So it's gonna be Galaxy versus Toluca, and really looking forward to that because guess what? It's an opportunity for some silverware to go with our wooden spoon. Wait, no, that wooden spoon is not ours anymore because
No.
Montreal's like, no, guys, that's our wooden spoon. We eat our poutine with wooden spoons.
Oof. Um, Speaking of wooden spoons, I will throw this stat out that I heard in the match earlier. So the LA Galaxy has received more than 50 goals this season.
Yeah, it's bad.
Think about that. Think about that. All right, guys. Now we can get into some Galaxy stuff. Let's go with today's lineup. Well, not today. Well, it's today for me because I watched the game today.
Yesterday's lineup,
It's yesterday's
Saturday's lineup.
lineup, and another edition of El Tráfico, which I don't think any game has been very disappointing, except for that one time that we got smashed 6-2. But it was COVID days. I mean, nobody was around. So does it really count? Yes, it does. Fuck y'all. Anyway, the lineup goes as follows: Mikovic at keeper. Your two center backs, Maya Yoshida and Emilio Garces. Your left back with another start, Julian Alde. Outright, Mickey Yamane. Your trio midfield was Edwin Cerrillo, Lucas Sanabria. Surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, but because I guess Fagundes had to play the midweek match. So rotations. And of course, your number 10 was Marco Royce. Up top, your trio was Gabriel Peck out right, Joseph Painsil out left, and the nasty man himself, the number 9, Nascimento. Edgar, did this lineup give you any hope that the LA Galaxy could have pulled out what they pulled out? Because
No.
because on paper and from the standings, LAFC is by far the better team currently.
I mean,
Current form.
let's be completely honest. It wasn't just us, because I listened to the other pods. Our other buddies said, Josh and Rob and Ananda. Everybody was like, "Yeah, we're gonna lose this match."
Yeah.
I mean, the only person I heard that said, that Galaxy wasn't gonna win. Strangely enough, was our buddy Kirk from
But the
from the
midweek show,
cross, for the
yeah.
counter press, and he said, "Oh, it's gonna be a 2-2 draw," and I'm like, "How dare you? You're being too nice."
Well, take
And
us to that
then,
conversation. Take us to that conversation.
well, no, and it's not just him too. Our old pal Ivan, who covers LAFC as well, he reached out and he said, "You guys always show up for these matches. Is this gonna be a draw?" And I was like, "Man, what's wrong with you guys? Don't you have faith in your team, right?" And they both kind of alluded to the same thing, which is like, for some reason, no matter what the record is, LA Galaxy always gets up for these matches, and LAFC just does not. And but nonetheless, I was like, yeah, there's no way this guy's gonna win. This has just been such a horrible season. There's been so many times where we expect this team to win a match that's winnable, that they have chances, they look much better on paper, and then they go out and lay an egg. So going into this one, I was like, yeah, man, there's no way. I predicted it was going to be 2-1 LAFC. And up until a certain point in the match, it was like, yep, yeah, it looks like LA Galaxy is going to get, taking a big fat L. But this is why the games are played.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is why Taylor Twellman is going to keep asking for this assignment, because he gets to scream like a happy little elf, right? On color commentary whenever there's a match like this, because it's his bread and butter, man.
100%. And on top of that, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's sour, tardido, because he's never beat us in the fucking final. New England Revolution has never beat us in the final. But yeah, I think before this match, and because I produced the midweek show, and I was hearing you and Kirk talk about this whole what the LA Galaxy and the LAFC match could be, I was no lie, I was kind of on the side of Kirk when he mentioned the tie. For one, out of all these matches that we've had against LAFC, there's been a rarity of upsets, right? It's usually down to the wire, a dramatic finish, especially the first one that we had against them at Dignity Health Sports Park when Zlatan made those miracle goals and we were all happy. And then you fast forward to us beating them 2-0 in the US Open Cup at their house. Then they beat us at a playoff match too. These are the type of matches that you want to see in a rivalry match, right? And for some reason, and this is how you know this is an actual rivalry match, because for some reason, even though one team is up here and the other team is down here, when they face each other, it's magic, right? Everybody who is on the pitch, whether we like them or not, whether we think they're good or not, they seem to perform. And the team always seems to step up, which is something that we've talked about that always gets me mad, that they wake up for these matches, but when it comes to like playing the other teams, they lay eggs. And this time around, El Trafico did not upset at all. And seeing how it turned out, I mean, it was it is what it is. They had the opportunity to kill us and send us home for the rest of the season for us not to make playoffs. And Yoshida said, nah. No. He gave us the
Nah,
ultimatum.
man.
Yeah.
This stupid match, man. At one point, I said, after Galaxy made it 3-2, right? I mean, we know what happened, but
Yeah.
after they made it 3-2, I said, because I was watching my PS5, and I said, man, if Galaxy ends up tying this match, I'm gonna throw my controller at the TV, and I did.
Yeah.
But I was also chatting with our buddies in the MLS fan media chat, and everybody was like, "Wow, what an entertaining match!" And meanwhile, Galaxy fans and LAFC fans are going having coronaries and life support throughout the entire match. But it in the end, yeah, it was entertaining. And my God, down to like the last minute, wow, that's that's crazy. What else can you ask for?
Yeah, 100%. But let's go. We won't go in depth about halves and halves, but let's just quickly say what we liked about the first half and some things that you probably didn't like about the first half.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, you have the floor, sir.
I just like the fact that they actually came out and try to give LAFC the ball, because one of the things that Kirk told us was, you want to beat LAFC, let LAFC have the ball, because their whole game is around counters and having Danny Boanga lead the attack. Um, and those times when LAFC has the ball, they don't have that kind of imagination. They just can't figure out ways to break down an attack. I mean, a defense. But this is the Galaxy defense we're talking about. But I felt. I mean, I had. I mean, like I said, I had the sense we're gonna lose this match, but at least at the beginning of the match, I was like, okay, it's not so bad. Galaxy is actually doing okay. Um, Up until it wasn't okay anymore. Because in the 26th minute, my God, LAC finally gets on the board, and what I thought was like, okay, Galaxy is doing okay. That they're not making too many mistakes, and then there was an amazing play, right, Brian? Ryan Hollingshead. Oh my God, what he did to Mickey Yamane. Can't hear you, man. There we go.
My bad. If we could get through those moments, that was the whole time that I was watching this match. It came through my head the whole conversation that you had with Kirk and exactly what he said that the LA Galaxy needed to do. They tried, but the first one was a counter. Hollingshead made a great whatever juke over Yoshida. I mean, not Yoshida. Yama. Damn, chill.
Mickey Yamane.
Mickey Yamane, bro. And he put a great through ball to Boanga. And I think Garces in that one may have stepped in the wrong direction where the through ball went. Whatever it was, he made a great finish, and it was on a counter. And then the second goal, again, on another counter. Something that we were warned about by Kirk, who said, "Give us the ball, and we will know what to do with it." That was the wrong plan for the LA Galaxy because we know we like to retain the ball, and we know we like to have possession. What happened in that game plan, I do not understand. But the LA Galaxy wasn't sharp after those 20 minutes of trying to hold down the defense, right? Because I think those first 15 minutes, the LA Galaxy was all right until that goal came in, which was in the 26th, right? So
Yeah, 26 minutes.
it wasn't demoralizing because I didn't really expect the LA Galaxy to perform against a tough LAFC team who, they're trying to go for another trophy. They're not far off from the top spots. And on top of that, they have a player of great quality in Denny Bouanga, who, let's keep it real, he cooked us today. If it wasn't for the last minute heroics of Maya Yoshida, I think the LA Galaxy would have got that loss. And then we would have been singing a different song right now.
No, yeah, and since we spoke about the first goal already, the second goal, it was man, what a great pass from Nathan Ordaz to Dilrosun. I want to say Dilrosun. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce his name correctly. But the one thing that struck me the most on that second goal was that Julian Alde completely caught ball watching. If you watch the replay as the counter is coming down the side, down the left side of the field, how he takes a glance or two over behind them to see what DeRozan is, and then he completely loses him. Ordaz sends the ball across the box. By the time Alde reacts, he turns around, he tries to get in position, slips up, and DeRozan has so much time that he can actually pick a spot and buries the goal and punishes Galaxy 2-0. And at that point, you're like, yep. This is
It's
gonna
gonna
be a
be a
long
long.
night.
It's gonna be a long match, and I had the same feeling until Ryan Hollingshead, for some reason, did a knucklehead play where Gabriel Peck came to the right, tried to cross it in. For some reason, Hollingshead put his hand up after having such a great first half and awarded the LA Galaxy with a PK. Now, this is where I was kind of doubting it, right? Because the LA Galaxy is not really known for making PKs or having great PK shooters. But the first one that stepped up was Gabriel Peck. Were you confident in that moment that Gabriel Peck was going to put it back in the net?
Hell no. Let's be honest, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you also heard, the play-by-play guy. I'm sorry, I wish I could remember his name, but he said he's like Peck. He's only made one of 3 PKs ever.
That's
So I'm
33%.
like,
That's
damn, bro,
33%.
really? 33%, and then he steps up and he no stupid little stutter step. He just goes up, buries a penalty to the left side, and makes it 3-2. I mean, was it 2-1? I'm sorry, 2-1.
2-1, 2-1.
And you're like, oh, a shred of hope, right? It's a fool's hope, but it's still a shred of hope.
As,
Um,
aside from that goal, which I'm pretty sure this is something that we both liked because we actually was able to get on the board. Aside from that goal, what was something else that you liked about this first half?
well, I like when the goal came because it was like right before the half, and you always hear about how important it is to score a goal right before the half because you carry that momentum into the dressing room, and it gives you a sense of confidence, um, and gives you some of that lift that you need to head into the second half and try to equalize things. Also, one of the things you always hear is that in football, in soccer, the most dangerous score is always 2-1. That's what I always hear. People say it's 2-0. No, to me, I always heard it's 2-1 because you're ahead and you're like, okay, if we're up, we should be able to score another one and ice this game. But in reality, you never know that the other team is starting to build up momentum, and before you know it, you're overwhelmed. But did we see that in the second half?
I mean, before we get into the second half, let me give you guys some stats on the
At the
first
half.
half.
Yes.
LAFC had 37% of the possession. The LA Galaxy had 63, which was something that Kirk told us in the midweek show that it should be the opposite, right? Expected goals 0.83 for the LA Galaxy, 0.64 for LAFC, which is totally weird because before the match, there was more of a 50% chance of LAFC winning this match. Towards the LA Galaxy's draw win factor 25 less percent. Shots on target, LAFC 3 to our 2. Big chances 1-1. Accurate passes, again, the LA Galaxy led in that one with 92% to their 86. So it looked on paper that the LA Galaxy was dominating that first half. Yet we were able to see some simple mistakes. I think both of them from Garces. I know the first one for sure was from Garces. I don't think he was positioned properly where he was able to make a defensive play on Boanga's run, which, by the way, even though Hollingshead put him a great ball. On the second goal, I think Garces bit into that tackle a little bit too early, kind of left Yoshida on an island. And then, of course, Aude wasn't able to track his man. I think he looked over his shoulder real quick to see who was behind him. He just didn't end up tracking him down to prevent that goal. And then we got that PK. I mean, that wasn't even us creating something. I think it was just LAFC and specifically Hollingshead making a big mistake that pretty much cost them the match this time around. So the stats looked in our favor, and we were down at the half 2-1. Second half starts.
Yeah. I don't know.
what
I
what
don't know if
what what do you what were some positive things going into the half where you thought maybe, you know what, 2-1 at the half, we're not down by that much, maybe we could make a comeback and get some 3 points? Did you have that feeling?
No, I still thought we were gonna lose. But at least, like I said, there's that whole thing where you score right before the half, you carry that momentum into the second half, and maybe you can generate some kind of offense from that. But whatever sort of scheme or tactics that Vanny had laid out for his club, um, heading into that second half, it all got thrown out the door the moment that they turn the ball over, and here comes Boanga racing everyone all the way back to the south end. And my God, he smoked everyone, and that's what he loves. He likes to do that on a counter, and scored a really nice goal past Mitrovic, and there it was 3-1, and you're like, well, uh, there's still a lot of
Yeah.
time left, but damn, this has an opportunity to get really ugly really fast if LA Galaxy doesn't make any adjustments or tighten things up defensively. We know how difficult that is to do for this team, but at that point, there was no reason why LAFC should have lost that match.
One of the things that, because you just mentioned it right now, making the adjustments. I failed to mention this in the first half. Something that I didn't like was Lucas Sanabria play. I don't think he is there to be a starter yet. I have a really tough time being convinced that he is our starting number 8, the replacement for quote unquote Delgado, right? That is what the replacement would be, right? Every match that I've seen him play, I don't see an urgency that I would like to see my number 8 play with. Doesn't mean that he's bad on the ball. Doesn't mean he doesn't tackle the way a recovering center mid should. It's just I don't see enough for him to be a starting number 8 alongside a Cedillo, who I think, even though we've had a very bad season with the LA Galaxy, I think Cedillo has done a great job, an amazing job. He's been able to fill the role for what Delgado left, as well as the hole that Ricky Puig left. Maybe not in the creative side, but maybe in the recovering side. And when you put a Lucas Sanabria next to him, it still seems like Cedillo has to do a lot of the work. Maybe I'm the one tripping and seeing something else, but I'm not a big fan of Snyder starting this season. Do you think I am maybe blowing everything out of proportion with that statement, Edgar?
Well, Sanabria didn't have particularly good match, and it could have just been the whole weight of the derby on him. And I know it's kind of rough to say because he comes from Uruguay, and we know Uruguayan football is famous for having fierce rivalries within their league and within the South American divisions. But um, some people that I know, some friends that I have that are from Europe that have come and witnessed, or seen an LAFC versus Galaxy match, have said, this is a pretty cozy derby. And it's funny to say the word cozy because they're like, what do you mean by cozy? It's like, every because the fans are in such close proximity to each other, you feel the tension, right? And I imagine the players, down in the field. So maybe Sanabria just wilted under, the pressure and or just felt that kind of pressure and didn't play to the level that we had hoped he would. So
Yeah.
that might be an explanation. We do have a super chat.
Oh yeah. Let's address the super chat before we finish up with the second half. From
Let's hear the
Adam,
sound
once again, let me get that little twinkle going.
so we could.
Adam, thank you once again for the super chat. Dude, you keep paying for our Eva fucking for a subscription. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
We really do appreciate that. Thank you, sir. He asks, who do you guys fault for the goals yesterday? I can give you 2. Emilio Garces. I think the first 2 were on Emilio Garces. The first one definitely being out of position. The second one was definitely him charging into that tackle too early and missing disgustingly. The third one, I think that was a good one. I think
That
that
was just that was a team effort.
yeah, that was a team effort of disgustness. So
No, the second one, I feel like I said, I'm gonna be more lenient on Garces. The first one, I just felt like Garces was not gonna, which is interesting, right? Because we know he's pretty quick,
yeah,
but for some reason he just was not gonna be able to catch up to Boanga, who's really fast on his own. So Garces tried to play the pass. He tried to cut the pass off, and it just so happened that the the pass that was laid out by Hollingshead didn't go the route that Garces wanted. It kind of like he sent it a little bit further out, and there was no way that Garces was gonna be able to get on time to the pass or catch up to Boanga. So he was caught no man's land, and it was a great pass. Let's just call it what it is. It was a good pass. The second goal I said was Alde. He wasn't paying attention. That's my opinion. And the third goal, that was just like a team effort. Everyone messed up. Everybody was out of position, and
yeah,
that's what LAFC does. They like to counter you to death, and
they're
it was a
great
good
at it.
goal. It
By
was
the
a
way,
good goal, man.
they're great at it. By the way, when you have a dangerous player like Danny Bouanga, as much as I hate to fucking see him on the pitch when he plays against us or when he plays anywhere, this is the type of player you want on your team. He is a legit MLS DP, something that we had last season with Gabriel Peck and Paintsel. Um, for whatever reason, it hasn't panned out this season, but Danny Boanga has MLS's respect. Let's keep it honest.
Well, I will say this, and this is because of conversations I've had with a lot of LAFC podcasters. They kind of feel he's kind of a crutch because, and he's kind of a detriment to the club. And you're like, what? How? Because he's done so much, but the team depends so much on scoring goals through him
Yeah.
that when you have somebody like a Giroud come into the club and you can't figure out how to make him work with the club, this guy is a world class player. Imagine if LA Galaxy would have got Giroud at the time, we would have figured it out. You know
I
how many
don't. I don't
passes that
know. I don't know. I don't know.
no, because one of the things that he wasn't getting at LAFC was service. So when you have a Boanga there, everything has to funnel down through him, and they're pretty predictable. And so that is a double edged sword. And that's something that I've heard some LAFC podcasters talk about before. Where like, man, yeah, we have Boanga. A lot of the goals that he scores are penalties. Also, they are aware that he draws a lot of fouls, and league wide, everybody knows that he likes to drag that back foot to see if he can feel any kind of contact and then throw himself to the ground. So these are things that they have with him. But when he leaves that club, which might come sooner than later, because I've heard rumblings that he wants out of MLS. Um, when he does leave that club, uh, they're going to miss him, but they're also going to be looking forward to restructuring the entire way that team attacks. And they have a lot of flexibility for next season. So,
Something that Eddie mentioned. I'll shout out to the homie. He says some of the blame goes to Yamane on the first two. I think it says gets pulled out of the position to cover for Mickey. And I think, you know what, in general, I think it's just that defense not always being on the same page. It even, we saw it last season as well. There was times where the whole back line was not on the same page and goals were coming in very easy, especially on set plays, which was something that was our biggest crutch last season. Now is a different crutch. Now any ball that gets through the back line is gonna go end up in the back of the net. Uh, so it's tough to. Well, it's not tough. I think our defense and I guess a cohesive is not really good. But on one, if you go down the line of who's in the back line, Yamane right back, he's nice. Garces on his own, nice. Yoshida, he's had his legendary career where he's nice. And then out there, of course, John the Rock Nelson, what he did for us last season. But as a collective, I think there's a lot of miscommunication where, it leaves us scratching our heads of what the fuck happened. And it showed this last match with the first two goals, I think. Is that a fair assessment?
well, the first goal, that was just a nice pass. The second goal, I would could have done better. But there is some truth to what Eddie said. People get pulled out of position. You have players try scrambling to try to cover up, and it leaves a lot of cracks and gaps, and then people exploit you. But that's how football is, right? It wouldn't be fun if nobody ever made mistakes, but when you make a mistake, that's when goals are scored,
Yeah.
or at
And
least right give the other team a chance.
and so let me ask you this next question. Do you
Sir,
think LAFC is very successful because they do have a Bouanga? Because I've seen two comments here
yeah.
addressing the same factor that as soon as Bouanga subbed out, the game was for us. And there's another comment saying Bouanga's the entire reason why they're good. Is that a fact? Because I do have to say that adding an Igor Jesus has been very beneficial to them in the midfield, alongside a Mark Delgado, who we know what he brings to the table. Um, is he the only player that they need to be successful?
No, I think some of the criticism that LAFC fans levy towards the team is also laser focused on Steve Cherundolo,
Okay,
because they say that they
one
feel
hundred
like
percent.
Cherundolo um, relies too much on Boanga, where a lot of people are saying, well, why are LAFC fans complaining about Wonga? Well, it's not that they're complaining about him. It's just they're complaining that they use him, they rely on him too much, and Chirondolo just can't figure out how to do something else besides just let's counter and give the ball to Denny every
Yeah,
single time, right? And then he couldn't make it work with Giroud. He has good pieces there. David Martinez is good. You said Igor Jesus is good. They have some good players, Nathan Ordaz, and
oof.
they got to figure out ways to, they have all these good pieces, but they always just focus on this one guy.
Yeah,
You got to diversify, and you got to have, you got to be much more dangerous in different factors. This is what last year's LA Galaxy team was so successful, because it wasn't just Dayon scoring goals, right? You had Peck scoring goals, Paintil scoring goals, Ricky scoring goals. Sometimes you have guys in the middle that would come up and step up and score goals. So you didn't know where the attack was coming from. With LAFC, they're very predictable. It's going to be Denis Bouanga.
yeah, and not to take away of what his gravity does, as 3 against 4 says. Yeah, dude, he demands a lot of attention because he's that good. I think I'm gonna say it. We're blessed to see players like that in MLS, right? Kind of like when we had Zlatan, kind of like when we had Babon. Even now with the Messi transfers, like these are good players that come here through MLS and kind of show where the potential of MLS could be, right? Well, I think the next step to try to stop those type of players would be to bring in DP defenders. But that's a whole different topic that we'll get into.
Super chat.
Yeah, and we'll get into the super chat right now. Let's get the little twinkle going.
That's the twinkle is when Ricky Puja's knee is healing.
We are closer to him being 100%. Adam, thank you once again for the super chat. You always come through. Were you guys surprised no penalty was called for LAFC for Bouanga this game around? Since most games versus the LA Galaxy always get a call in their favor. Were you surprised we didn't get a? You know what? I'm
Yeah.
surprised we got one with that handball. To be honest, it could have been one of those moments where, oh no, it hit his face. Right?
Well, I mean, in our favor, John Freeman wasn't the referee in this match, right? Because if that guy would have been the referee, he would have given LAFC every penalty and every play there, and he would probably given Mickey Amine a red card just for showing up.
100%.
But no, the one thing that I thought was interesting, right, when I was doing the ref report, was that this ref, Guido, sorry, let me get his name real quick. Guido Gonzalez Jr. He was the ref at MLS Cup 24. He was also the ref in that Red Wedding massacre at Red Bull where we lost 7-0.
Don't bring that back. Don't bring that.
So we'll get to Eddie's statement right now, but he was refereeing those matches, and I noticed that this season he's handed out he's awarded 3 penalty kicks. 2 of those were in his match LAFC had against Portland. And it was just fascinating to me that he awarded one, to LA Galaxy in a match against LAFC, but that Denny Bouanga was never in a position to get one. It's because LA Galaxy already knows we expect that. So, I mean, you know it. He's that dude's like any moment, anytime he's in the box, you got to be careful with him. But my God, there are some times when a ball was in the 18 and Garces had his hands on people, and I was like, no, don't do anything stupid. But it was like borderline where that dude could have got a penalty called against us, and it just didn't happen this time.
Well, you could even see it in the first half. He was guarding Bouanga very closely, and then those 2 times that he got free, one led to him scoring a goal, and the other one led to more free open space. So, and the what is it? 3 against 4. He also says that we wouldn't be shit without Ricky, basically, and I think that's true. There's a lot of those players in MLS. It's not just Ricky. It's not just Bouanga. There's Evander, who plays for Cincinnati. Hell of a player. Carles Hill, who plays for Revolution. Hell of a player. Mihailovic. Henny Mukhtar plays for Nashville. Mihailovic plays for Colorado. There's a lot of these players. And this is the slow process of MLS where we need a
Diego Luna.
he's going overseas, hopefully
Yeah.
for the U.S. national. I would hope, right? So there's a lot of these players here, and even though there's a lot of stigma about coming to MLS and not being competitive, um, you can throw those quotes and show them up your ass. MLS is very competitive, and if you don't think so, look at Atlanta, who spent a lot of money for good players, and they're not even in the playoff contention right now.
Oh, Atlanta. My
Sorry,
God.
Starbs and Spikes. We love you boys, but your team is
Yeah,
shit right now.
they're bad. You thought, I mean, Galaxy is pretty bad, but my God, those guys spent a lot of money and they're really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Uh,
let's go back to
let, let, let's
to
finish. Let's finish
Eddie.
this match.
No, let's go back to Eddie's statement real quick because I thought it was funny.
Okay, yeah, I thought that was really funny too. Eddie says, "Shout out to the homie." I mean, Will Ferrell is one of the owners.
Maybe.
Maybe they, maybe they made Dolo watch kicking and screaming. Give it to the Italianos, which is
Yeah,
true. I mean, he's not Italian. He's where's Bonga from?
he's from Sierra Leone
Is it
in
Sierra Leone?
Africa. Yeah.
Well, there it is. He's not
Wait,
Italian.
I think he's from Sierra Leone. Let me double check just to be sure.
You double check while I look at some chats right now. 3 against 4 also says we're having Atlanta season after all that money spent. An attack, I freak out. Yeah, well, they're freaking out.
My bad. He was born in France, but he plays for Gabon in Africa.
Gabon. There you go.
Yeah.
Gabon. Gabon. Let's get back to this match. Guess who
Yes.
was our hero?
Well, first of all, that second goal.
Let's go. Nah, fuck that second goal.
Yeah, that was a nice goal.
Let's get to the main. You know what? Let's go.
No,
Yeah, you're right. Hold
we have
on.
to mention the
I'm
second
getting there.
goal
I'm getting ahead of
because it was
getting
one
there.
of the nicest goals Galaxy has scored this season.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one person. It was like the whole team came together, and the nice way that it was finished off by Peck. Oh my God, that was a nice goal.
So the 79th minute, um, the LA Galaxy was basically at this moment getting shut down on the wings, which is something that we've been only be able to play this season because we don't have Ricky Puig. Peck wasn't really doing well until he scored that fucking PK, and even at that, he wasn't imposing his will onto his defender. Same thing with Paintso, who I think has had a horrible season this year. I know I'm in the chat with Eddie as well, one of our good friends, David Godino, who made the outlandish comparison of him being this season's Cabral.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far.
But I think from what we saw last season to this season, it has been a big dip, and it's not beneficial to the Galaxy. And on top of that, if he wants to keep playing and making money here, you think you want to perform, especially because you're one of the DPs, not just you, Gabriel Peck too, right? We've mentioned this before that when Ricky Puig went down with an injury last season, who was the first man to step up? Gabriel Peck kept his team rolling on all cylinders, had them competing and winning matches. Another player that stepped up in that moment was Diego Fagundes. So after Gabriel Peck made that goal, which was beautifully executed by the orchestration of Marco Royce, there were some subs. Mauricio Cuevas came in, Christian Ramirez came in, John Nelson came in. At this time, we already had Diego Fagundes in. I think after those subs were made,
Man, you mentioned Isaiah Parente, right, coming in?
yeah, Isaiah Parente for Edwin Serio. After those subs came in, I think the LA Galaxy had a different gear. I think they turned it up one notch. Do you think I am saying something outlandish at that moment at the 81st minute? Did they turn it up a little bit?
It was interesting to me that they took out Nascimento because we've been talking this whole time about how Chris Ramirez is like a gear slower than Nascimento,
Yeah.
but Chris Ramirez was involved in a play where he nearly scored. It was like right at the touchline, and the ball seemed like it was about to go in, and both him and oh my God, their goalkeeper, I forgot his name. Sorry, it's been a long day.
Mikovic?
No,
Oh,
no, no.
there's
Yeah,
I don't know that French asshole.
Hugo Lloris. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, it's been a long day. My brain is fried. I was grilling earlier today, but Hugo Lloris and Christian Ramirez were on the ground, and the ball looked like it was about to go in, and I don't know where Lloris just boop, puts it out, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" It was that close. It was that close. Um, but yeah, I think at that point you just needed some fresh legs in there to give that last little boost of energy and throw everything forward and try to make something happen. People were saying as soon as LAFC subbed out Boanga, that was like pretty much. I think they felt like they had done enough, and they were going to ice the game and maybe catch Calix in another counter. And at that point, uh, why would LAFC lose this match? Well, something interesting happened after a Gabriel Peck goal,
It was a lot
because
of
that completely made this not just an entertaining Trafico, but it brought some of the spice into it. And I say spice because, my God, it got really crazy.
so
The players got into it.
I 100% agree with you with that one. At this moment, the match throughout the whole night, well, 80 minutes didn't have that extra oomph of what a Clásico brings, right? Or what El Tráfico brings. Especially since the stuff on social media, they had certain banners showing support for our people
Well, those are the
and all
supporters,
those.
but
I know. So it didn't feel like an actual Tráfico match. That's what I'm trying to get to. Until that moment, until Mauricio Cuevas drops, who I forget who it was. It's one of the
David
young guys.
Martinez.
David Martinez drops him, does the Allen Iverson stomp over on him, and then Segura comes in, chokes out Diego
Segura
Fagundes,
comes in,
and
the
then
other players collide.
I think from that moment on, I think the Tráfico was on. I think in that moment it changed everything of what the dynamic of this match was, because to that point, I was already conceding the L. I don't know if you felt the same way. After that, Segura got that red. I think the LA Galaxy just said, you know what? Let's just go for it. Let's press these guys. We have one man up. Uh, and lo and behold, it turned out to be beneficial for the LA Galaxy.
Well, uh, I see the super chat. We can address that in a second, but as far as what happened in that situation, the one thing that stood out to me was, yeah, there was a scuffle where Segura grabs Fagundes and he pretty much horse collar tackles him to the ground. But also, Maya Yoshida stepped in there like the
Yup.
captain that he is,
Mm-hmm.
and he brought order. He shoved some people out of the way. He went after Segura, and then he made sure that everybody got separated. Very smart from one of the LAFC players to grab Segura and drag him away, because Segura was going to get into some more trouble than he already did. And he was gone. He was gone. And then we can bring up Adam's super chat.
Yeah. Before we do that, I did mention to you before we got onto the live to the broadcast that if that would have happened in any Sunday league, dude, that would have been an automatic rumble. Kicks would have been flying to chest, some
Damn.
elbows to the fucking eye. It would have been one of those unfortunate circumstances where it could have got really ugly. And I kind of I applaud the effort of them holding back to throw a punch.
Oh,
Uh,
professionals, man.
Very professional. I know in other leagues, even though they're professionals, people throw punches.
Well, it's not the NHL. NHL,
Hey, those
anything
are
goes.
good. I like those fights, though. I'm not gonna lie, I like those fights. But shout out to everybody who held back, because it could have got really ugly. Not just on the pitch, it could have got ugly on the stands too. If how it escalates, right?
Dude,
Because at that moment, it turned into the actual El Tráfico.
oh, there was something else that's worth mentioning,
Yeah.
because after LAFC made it 3-1, there was that incident where Gabriel Peck and Garces got into it with each other,
Yes.
and Garces, I think, headbutted Peck, and it was so bad that even the referee took it to VAR, and they might have given a yellow or maybe even ejected Garces for doing that to his own teammate. You're like, what the hell?
No.
I know Benny addressed it after the game, and he said, "Well, I'm not." He goes, "I've never, I'm not. I don't think I've ever seen an incident like that before." He goes, "But you want to have that kind of fire in your players, that kind of competitiveness in them. But obviously, you want to aim it at the other team, not at your teammates. But
100%.
it just shows that how did the last Galaxy match against Austin? What happened in the tunnel? They got into it with the Austin players, and then this week they got into it with LAFC. So this Galaxy team, yeah, they might not be winning, on the field, but they're winning in the tunnels and they're winning in other ways possible, right? They're throwing down, right?
They're winning by beating their own players up.
We might not beat you, but we're gonna still beat you.
Well, let's get into that super chat. Thank you once again for the super chat.
Hold on, they can't hear you. All right, go for it.
Again, he says, I disagree with the LAFC podcasters that say Fagundes should have gotten the red. Of course, there's a disagreement. There is no reason why Fagundes should have gotten the red.
I
He
mean, I
did nothing to agitate any player, put hands on anybody in any malicious way, like Segura grabbing his fucking neck. Like, that's a red. Fagundes was just there taunting. That's at least a yellow, and he did get a yellow. Him and Cuevas got a yellow. A red?
no, I can understand why they said that. Because, and I know who
Because
it
they're
was. It was
bitter. Because they're
it,
bitter.
no, it was Happy Foot Tech Foot, and I understand. I understand how they feel because um some of the officiating was kind of strange, even though this is the 2024 MLS Ref of the Year, right? And some of the calls at the end did not favor LAFC, and then you have that scuffle, and when you're in the press box, you might have all these different angles at what's going on, but of course you're gonna stick by your guys, and it was a very emotional result for LAFC fans, right? They thought they had it in the bag, up 3-1, and then boom, boom, 2 goals, and game over, and you're like, damn it. So yeah, I think in their case, it's just the emotions I think overwhelmed them for them to say something like that. Obviously, they're also feeding into how the fans were reacting at the end of the match. They're pelting the officials with everything they could get their hands on. Um,
Well, let me show
that's
you
what
guys why.
happened.
Let me show all of you LAFC fans who are tuned in right now, because I know there's like a couple. And shout out to you guys. But here's why you're mad. Bam. San Yoshida-san. That's funny. San Yoshida-san.
Yeah.
The great man, el gran cabezón, cabeza de fósforo. Thank you. I love this man for getting us that tie. I think this match wasn't really going his way for the most part. But I think we kind of have the same consensus that he is a threat on the air. And then think in this match in particular, he showed what he could really do. It's not like LAFC doesn't have small defenders. On top of that, the fact that we struggle on set pieces and he was actually the one who converted one to get us a tie and keep us with some hope for the playoffs. I mean,
Well, there's something we also need to take into consideration.
San Yoshida,
Um,
baby.
with and this is something I heard
Yeah,
earlier. The 2 goals Galaxy scored at the end there. The one where Peck made it 3-2,
yeah.
and then the equalizer. They really missed Aaron Long in the box, and
What?
because that's their defensive anchor, that's their center back, and Kirk. I know Kirk doesn't. He's not a big fan of of
Aaron
Aaron
Long, yeah.
Long,
We had the
and
conversation with him.
and there's Ivan is not a big fan of Aaron Long, and I'm sure some other LAFC people aren't big fans of Aaron Long, but he's still there. He's a big dude, and he probably would have been able to maybe body Yoshida off the ball, but Yoshida got in the right place at the right time. Great pass by Cuevas, and all of a sudden, boom, goal. And I'm throwing my controller, and you know, I'm like, oh my god, right? And
So the whole time,
damn,
so
you know,
I didn't get to watch the match live. So the whole time I was just watching it on my phone because I went to go mini golf. I had a little date, and so I went to go mini golfing, and I was just keeping score on my phone. When I got home, I saw some of the replays, and dude, what it meant to the away fans, what it meant to us, right? This was an opportunity for LAFC to kind of stick it to us as a rival. This could have been the chance for them to say, hey, we eliminated you guys from playoff contention earlier than expected. Could not do it. What does it say about LAFC, and what does that say about the LA Galaxy?
there was a there's like a statement I saw earlier that made me laugh. Sorry, I was looking for it. There was a statement I saw earlier where I think it was Danny Bohanga said, I approach this derby like it's a final. And somebody said, no wonder you guys choked then. Oh man, that's messed up. But
No, it is.
hey, no, but hey, that's on them, dude. But let's
Well,
address the two super chats because
yeah,
those are.
I was about to say that. Well, sucks to suck. Also, before so the LA Galaxy ended up with a 3-3 match.
Woo, woo.
Something that I did not expect. I am very pleasantly surprised with this one, and I also want to, before we get to the super chats, I kind of want to show some photos here of some great celebrations because we need a dose of Garces. And what I mean by that is this man was not shy to show who runs LA. Look at that. Look at Garces just being a fucking menace. Third goal goes in. Garces doesn't celebrate with his team. Garces doesn't give a fuck that he fucked up twice to get scored on. He goes up to 32-52, throws up the 6, lets them know who reigns supreme, and not just in LA, in all of MLS, regardless of our shit season this year. and those are some of the things. These are the type of players that you want on your team. This is the type of player that want him forever. This guy, he has his faults, but his upside and his heart for what he represents in the crest is something that you can't deny. And I love that for him. Now let me show you the full picture of how disrespectful he got. Y'all ready? Bam. Look at him looking at 32-52. Everybody flipping him off. Him having a great time. Hey, you guys couldn't beat the last place in the Western Conference. SMD, baby. SMD indeed. All right, boys. Well, boys, is this us too?
Super chats.
Let's get to the super chats. Let's go with the first one from No Pasa Nada. Thank you.
Let's keep healing Ricky's knee, man.
Let's keep healing the knee. Let's hear the magic music.
Hold on, man. Hold on. And go.
Getting closer to being healed. No pasa nada. It was so much fun listening to the Sad Foot podcast with these Boston transplants whining about the ref when they have the biggest diver in the league. That is a fact. No pasa nada. Because no pasó nada. Stephen Ma, let's hear some healing factors for Ricky. Stephen Ma, thank you for the donation. If I was a member of LAFC Korean Tiger supporter group watching that Yoshida equalizer, I would have smashed my TV. Well, they could have done, what is that sacrificial ritual? Senpoku?
No, that's in Japan, bro.
Oh, well, whatever Senpoku is in Korea, do that.
Oh my god. No, but just to go back to the previous one about the happy foot, sad foot guys. I mean, like I said, they're there at the stadium.
Shout out to those guys, though. Shout out to them.
I don't. Yeah, we've had them on before. I don't think they're terrible people at all. they were one of the first ones to speak out against ICE and all that stuff and say that that what was going on was was hideous and good for them, right? But also, like I said, they were caught up in the moment. Um, I mean, as Galaxy fans, we've been through a lot of crap, so I think something like that wouldn't have me like screaming, bloody murder. But we've been through, especially us, Brian. We're Clippers fans. We've been through hell,
Oh,
right?
come on.
So something like that, you're like, oh well, let's just add that to the pile of misery, right?
I've seen the Clippers be shit since 1999 when Lamar Odom got
I,
drafted. So I got 25 years of shit and
bro,
no
I've been there
titles.
since 88, 87, man. So there you go.
With the Danny Manning years, damn.
The Danny Manning, the
Oh
Hollywood
my,
Ron Harper years, man. So there you
oh
go.
my god. That's
But yeah,
horrible.
no, it's fun. That's what you want. That's the kind of stuff that we love about Trafico, right? Um, maybe Galaxy fans are kind of jaded, and we're like, all right, we lost the game. Oh well, it's not we expected to win. But then when you have the guys from the other side just losing their minds about the draw and blaming the ref and who knows what else, you're like, yeah, that adds to the spice that is El Tráfico. And like I was telling Kirk, maybe, just maybe,
Just
there might be another Tráfico in the playoffs. Not really.
hopefully not. Fuck you, Eddie. How about that? Fuck Paul George. Anyway, well, the match ended up in the 3-3 tie. I think this keeps the LA Galaxy somewhat alive in the playoffs. Hoping.
Let's
Like,
look at the standings, man.
well,
Because
all right. Well, let's look at the standings because there's a lot of stuff in the standings that we probably wouldn't understand.
no,
But
I can make some sense of it. I'll tell you why right now. It's funny.
give me a moment while we. Here we go. All right. So the standings look like. Hold on. Wait. Go ahead,
Well, while
Edgar.
you're waiting, I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
thank you very much, Seattle Sounders. You guys keep winning in the stands and on the field because not only did they have the support in the stands, but they also went out and they put a beating on the Smurfs 3-2. Which thank you so much. Keep the Smurfs within just in range of LA Galaxy. Galaxy picked up a point on them. Uh, you might see Galaxy way down there at the bottom. We can't really see it because that's where we belong. But St. Louis lost against St. Louis right now. And you talk about Galaxy, we're all like at this point we're all accepted our fate. We're like, yeah, our season sucks. Then you have St. Louis, and they're losing their minds. I was listening to what their podcasters were saying this morning. Their fans, their coach, pretty much called out everyone in the club. Said, I want players that care about the team, and a bunch of you guys really don't give a damn about the team. If I could probably get rid of all of you guys. That would be fine. Something to that effect. I'm like, damn. So St. Louis is a mess. Kansas City is where we expected them to be. And then you look at San Jose. They lost. Galaxy is still within range of them. But what I want to tell everybody is, hey, you know what? Colorado is just slightly above San Jose. Hey, you never know. You never know. Who cares about 9? Let's go for number 7, baby. Catch up. San Jose has 29 points. And Colorado has 30. If Galaxy goes on the streaks of all streaks, you catch up to Colorado and sneak into that 7th spot. Don't even have to worry about the playing game. Let's go. No, it's not gonna happen like that. Um, but let's see. As you guys see, the San Diego and the Vancouver match. I don't know if you guys caught that, but San Diego and Vancouver had a match, and Vancouver uh, was holding a lead. San Diego tied near the end, and that match ended in a draw. San Diego continues to surprise everyone, and they're still in first place. We're looking to see how they're gonna go end up, especially towards the end of the season. They have I don't think they had a chance to play against San Jose yet, so that's gonna be interesting because we're gonna see how they do against another rival within the state. But Galaxy has matches coming up soon against Dallas, Kansas City, Houston, and up next for the Galaxy is going to be Houston Dynamo. It's another team that's like right there, right down the barrel. so Galaxy could try to maybe creep up on them. Houston isn't exactly a bad team, but they're not having the greatest season either. So it's another opportunity for Galaxy to maybe slowly climb up that table. Um, but at this point, it's kind of like a zombie trying to find like some kind of sustenance, some dead flesh, maybe. I don't know.
Zombie. No.
Oh, that song.
Yeah, the standings don't look too great, but you know what? At least we're not out of the playoff contention.
Yeah, it can
Which
creep
is
up, man.
yeah. I know I kind of made light of it at the halfway point when we had an episode that these guys are gonna make their way into the playoffs somehow and go on a run. Well, guess what? We've only had one loss in these last 6 games since the halfway point. We have 2 wins. No, wait, 2 losses and 3 ties. So we're still in there, baby. We are still in there. All right, Edgar.
Awards.
Yes. Let's get to these awards. Let's start with the game is off. Let's start with the game is off. Let's whose game was off?
Mm-mm. Really? We're gonna give him the victory trumpets. There you go.
That one was better. Whose game was off this
Thank
time
you.
around?
Darn, I'm torn between Yamane and Garces. I know you mentioned Garces several times, uh, but darn, I will say Aude, and I will say Aude because I blame him for that second goal, and that second goal came at a time when LA Galaxy was already stung by a really good play by LAFC, and they should have been much more careful because as much as we talk about how their whole attack focuses on Boanga, and here you give an opportunity to somebody else on that team to score a goal and make it 2-0. How they knew the guy because he looked back, he saw that he was there, and then just completely forgot to track the player. And by the time he turned around and noticed where he was, it was already too late. Boom, boom, 2-0 LAFC.
Oof.
So
I think that one's. Yeah, I can't really complain on that one. But I'll do it on the opposite end, on the offensive side. I think what I mentioned earlier with our good friend David Godino, and follow him, Godino Art, great art. He mentioned something that maybe cringe at first glance, but the more the season has played out, the more Painso hasn't really been the guy that we had last season. And in this match, when you need your other DP to stand out, because I mean, the only DP that scored today was Gabriel Peck. Joseph Painso wasn't not the DP that you want, right? We see the DP, and then we see our opposition's DP, who is killing it in the league and has been killing it every single year. I understand that there's been factors that he's been playing for so long, and he needed rest and this and this and that. But you're a professional. Sorry, Painso. You get the game is off for this one, and your game's been off for most of the year. Let's keep it honest. Hopefully, you continue around next season, because I think this season is a wash, even if we do get into the playoffs. But for this particular match, I think Joseph Painso was a major off.
yeah, there
By
was
far.
one chance I think he had where he went down the middle, and he had an open shot at Loris, and he just took a really weak shot right to him, and you expect better than that.
Yeah, it could just come down to like fatigue and stuff like that. Because
Um,
last year he played basically the whole year without no rest, and it's taxing on the body. He's not getting younger. He's a player of need in our team, especially when you play in the wings. You have to be up and down, so that taxes your body. So hopefully we could get him. Hopefully we could get eliminated early from the playoffs and he gets some rest. How about that one? All right, Edgar. What about the magically healing sounds of the honorable mention.
Oh, that's interesting. Um,
We want Ricky back, but who has the honorable mention? I'm actually going to put another twinkle next time we come around for that one.
okay. Interesting. I see. We see the super chat. We'll get to that right now.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
But as far as honorable mention, um, I'll say I want to say Gabriel Peck, but I also feel that Marco Roche, uh, he was doing a lot of other little things that were important for this match, and it would be very easy to say, "Oh, Gabriel Peck because he got those two goals." Well, one of them was a penalty kick, and one of them was that he was a recipient of a really nice pass from Marco Royce. So I'm gonna give it to Marco Royce. I feel like he wasn't there. He didn't score, but he got the nice assist, and he did a lot of other little things that maybe he didn't get credit for that we're not going to show up on a score sheet. And he's not the kind of guy who's going to melt under the bright lights of a derby like this because he's been through it. So he probably brought some of the stability that this team needed in a match like this.
Ooh, the honorable mention for me is it's a little tough, especially right now that I'm seeing the match ratings. The player that I gave the game is off is actually at a plus at a 7.2. I didn't think that was warranted at all. Um, you mentioned Marco Royce as your honorable mention. I think I'll give it to Marco Royce as the honorable mention. Second half, first half, he disappeared. I don't think that was a Marco Royce we've seen in these last three matches, especially in those back-to-back wins where he was spectacular. He wasn't spectacular this time around, but he did put a nice heel ball, like heel touch, to put the through guy to get the cross for Peck to do that. Actually, no, it wasn't that one. He gave the pass to Peck to get that second goal. I guess for that, I'll give him the honorable mention because I don't really think anybody really stood out like that. This team, I mean, because it was a classical, they showed up, but I don't think anybody was overly impressive. But just because he gave the second assist, I'll give it to Marco Royce as well. And now we get to the most prestigious award of all of MLS. Trust me when I say this, this is better than the MVP race.
Wow.
This is the NAGn standing player of the match. Edgar, who is your NAGn standing player of the match?
The one and only Yoshida-san. I mean, first of all, like I said, when that fight broke out, he came in there like alpha dog. He's like, "Get over there, get over there, get off my guy," pushing people out of the way. Brought peace to the area, to everybody to get back to their spots. And then when it counted the most, he showed up and scored the match. The match tying goal. And as you see his reaction, he didn't like whoop around or like start. He was just like chill. Like we came, we did what we had to do. We didn't get the W, but we left these guys in pain. Let's go.
Yeah, and let's get out of here. Joko actually brought up a great point. Cuevas does need to get mentioned.
Oh yeah, no,
I
I
think
thought about it too.
so. There was that cross. I think that was spot on of a fucking cross, especially coming in as a
Yeah, it
sub.
was beautiful.
Mickey Yamane, look out next season. This guy's gunning for your job, and I think he could take it from you, if I'm being honest.
Oof.
But my player of the match, my wham, is gonna be also Maya Yoshida. And it wasn't because of the goal. I think because of the fact that he was able to step up as a captain, like you mentioned. Seeing that he is underpaid because he did win that championship and they cut his salary. Seeing how the LA Galaxy season is shit right now. He still shows up to work, puts on the band, respects the band, respects the badge. Showed up today, yesterday, got the time, and like a class act. Come on, let's get back. Let's just finish the game and show up to work type thing. And those are the type of players that you do need in the locker room, especially when you're having a bad season like this. If you keep a player like this in your locker room, it entices player like Peck not to leave, Paintil not to leave, and Ricky not to leave, because they're able to lean on this veteran and his experience to show what a team is. And I think today I've never seen him this mad. I think that little moment that he had when the red card came out to Segura was one of my favorite moments of the season so far. And for that, I think he gets player of the match. Well, no, not player of the match. Next standing player of the match.
Let's do the super chat, baby.
And now let's do the super chat. All right. From Adam. Thank you once again because you keep healing Ricky's knee.
I can answer this one. I was looking at the research.
Will the Galaxy get a road win before the season ends? Before you go, I'm going to say no.
All right, here you go, guys. So I looked at the remaining matches of the season, and the next match that's coming up, this is it. This is going to be the last opportunity for this Galaxy team to get a road win, right? I mean, we're still in July, right? You're like, what, Edgar? What? Because there's a lot of home matches that are coming up, especially in Leagues Cup. But let's look at it. Next road match is against Houston Dynamo. Houston Dynamo is a very strange team. They're very up and down. Um, they just came off having a 1-1 draw with Philadelphia, which is one of the best teams in the league. But then the previous week, they got smashed by Vancouver. And then they had lost a match to RSL, which is a bad team. And then just several weeks ago, they beat San Diego in San Diego. So it's like, what the hell, man? You guys are such a Jekyll and Hyde team. But I really think when you look at who Galaxy is going to play on the road the rest of the season, this is the best shot, because the next home game after that is going to be on Saturday, August 16th, and it's against Messi and pals, Inter Miami.
That's a good
That's going to
team.
be a Chase. That's going to be a Chase Field, and there's no way I don't think Galaxy is going to beat those guys. And then after that, the next road match is in Seattle. And we know Galaxy has a hard time playing at Lumen Field. That's going to be a loss. And then the last road game of the season is going to be against FC Dallas. As if the Galaxy has a horrible, horrible record playing away to FC Dallas. When we get to that midweek show, I'll bring it up. But it's one of the worst. And not only that, on top of that, it's a Saturday match that starts at 1:30 p.m., which is probably 11:30 p.m. Local time. So that's an automatic L right there.
Yeah, those are.
So this next match against Houston, this is going to be it. This is the last chance for LA Galaxy to get a road match. And if they don't, forget about it. They're not going to win any road matches this season. It's over, folks.
Well, you heard it here first. We're going to lose all the way through. Nah.
Body clock, like Joe says, like Josh like to say, body clock.
Dude, these body clocks suck, bro.
Oh man, let me tell you, my first time on the East Coast, I had to do a body clock. That was not good for me. That was not good. I stayed up late because I'm used to that West Coast time, staying up late, and then I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning East Coast time, and my body did not like that.
All right, well, let's get to some of these questions, and then we could confirm the midweek show, and then we get up out of here. I do have some from last week that we from the midweek show. I am very sorry that I didn't get to these, but I'll get through them right now. All Adam right. DC said Zanka shouldn't be a starter. The goals were mistakes of Zanka. I think everybody's kind of like anti-Zanka. No, not everybody.
Yeah.
XL's Cool J. So it's a must win or say goodbye to MLS playoffs. Spoiler alert. We tied.
Seattle did us a solid, though.
Yeah, they did us a solid. Logan Jones. Joseph has lost confidence and it's like he's the next Cabral. See?
Jeez. Cabral's gone, though.
He's coming back. What do you mean? He got released by Colorado. Come back, baby. Come back.
But see, to be the next Cabral, you would have to just be completely bad all the time. And Joseph Paintsel was really good last year.
He was good last year. Really good, actually. Staying through champ. Who we counting on pushing the ball forward now that Alde is injured? Well, he wasn't injured yesterday. And he looked actually pretty good. except for that fuck up. And 1310 Silos. Fuck Levas, Zanka, Expensive, Zabaleta. That was from last week from the midweek. Sorry, I didn't get to it. This is from today. Gutinho. He has two of them. I'll take the draw. We did not play good. Yoshida may have saved us, but man, him and Yamane had a terrible game. I agree with that, actually. Eddie, AEW is black and gold. Fuck you. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you. Hashtag nag forever. Yes, sir. Nag forever.
Zero nagging.
He also mentions, do you guys feel this is the worst Galaxy performance in El Tráfico with at least a point? That's actually a great no, because I think we've had a worse team before and we've gotten wins against them. We've played Rolf Felcher against these fuckers and we've beat them. Rolf Felcher. Yep, nobody remembers that guy. And we were able to get 3 points.
I mean, I know you're talking about, but I'm just trying to think about in the past if Galaxy got a draw, and we're like, damn, they were lucky to get one. I can look that up real quick because I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah, as you go through that, some of the derbies that do well, I hate calling it a derby because it's El Tráfico.
Derby, baby.
It's El Tráfico. It is very unique to MLS, very unique to Los Angeles in general, and I think El Tráfico has a ring to it around the world because it's ours. So in all these El Tráfico matches, for it to be one of their best performances to get a tie out of, nah. We've had worse teams that have gotten us results. So especially seeing how we are the returning champs, why would you not show up for this match? Which is something that, dude, we've mentioned this a bunch of times. It gets me so mad that we could be shit all season, then we get into these matches and we perform admirably. At least in this match, we were able to salvage a point. We had some help from Seattle to keep us in the playoffs, and we keep on trucking. Were you able to find the research, sir? Because it doesn't exist.
No, I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at matches in the past where Galaxy had draws, and I mean, all these were battles. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
oh, this is an ugly game, and Galaxy dropped the ball. No, these were all battles.
For the most part, we did
There
get
was
smashed
one.
6-2, 5-3.
I mean, there was one I'm looking at in 2021. It was on October 28th, 2021, and it was at BMO Stadium. Alan Chapman was the referee, and LAFC was up 3-2, and then almost at the death, with like literally minutes to go, like 2-3 minutes ago, Kevin Cabral scored a goal to tie the match 3-3. Otherwise, Galaxy would have lost that one.
Let's go, Paintsell. I mean, Cabral.
Cabral.
Through the moral lens, it's frustration between the players' passion for motivation or unhealthy. Is frustration between players' passion for motivation or unhealthy?
Frustration? Is frustration healthy? Is that the question?
Is frustration between players' passion for motivation or unhealthy?
I mean, frustration is a result of something. I would say I wouldn't call it frustration. It's more like conflict between teammates. It depends. Like you said, you want to have that competitive fire inside you, right? Where um, in the heat of a match like this, you start calling out your players like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? Come on, man, step it up, step it up, step it up." I personally wouldn't put hands, or a headbutt on one of my teammates like that. I just think that you don't cross that line, to where you do something like that to your own teammates, and to the point where even the officials consider giving Garces a yellow for that. But yeah, I think it's perfectly fine to call out your teammates and say, "Hey, man, get your head in the game. Come on, you can do this." Motivate them. but just don't cross that line when you start dropping insults or you start to attack them physically. That's something else.
I'm looking at this question again, trying to really understand it. Is frustration between players passion for motivation, or is it unhealthy? Because I kind of agree with you, right? If especially because I think for the most part the team has stayed together, that won the championship last season. So you'd have some type of camaraderie with them, right? Where you're able to. This might be the minimal stuff of like people that might not understand. When you're in a team and you win a championship with somebody, I think that's your brother for like forever, right? It could go back to like anything that you've been through, Edgar, with your sorority brothers, right? You might not see them all the time, but
Fraternity brothers, bro.
fraternity, right?
Yeah, you said
Fraternity,
sorority.
fraternity,
Thank you.
right? Once you see them, you have that brotherhood, right? So seeing how most of the teams stay together this season, you would think that you'd be able to call people out in certain stuff. Maybe not be so direct where you offend them, but you're able to tell them, "Hey, get pedo, cerote. Like, why don't you mark this? Why don't you fucking run this?" Without them being offended. So I think it's a lot of frustration, especially because they don't have their best player on the pitch, and I think everybody on the team knows it. When your best player is off, it doesn't. You don't have that motivation as when your best player is in there, and that goes for every sports team in any league. The Lakers without LeBron, not confident. The Clippers without James Harden last season, not confident. The Dodgers without Pajas,
I don't know, man. The Dodgers are an all-star team.
but they've had their struggles.
Yeah,
The Kings without whoever,
Kobe.
Kobe, it you know your sorority bros.
What's wrong with you, man? That's the
You
sororities.
know what you
It's
know what I meant.
okay.
But yeah, it's just I think it's a combination of everything, and I keep saying it. Just watch the season. We'll be back next one, dude. We're spoiled to have the championship this season. We're 6-time champions. You think we're gonna win out 3 from here? No, it's hard in MLS. It's hard in any league to go back to back. But it is frustrating for everybody, not just the fans, to see your team be shit after winning the title. So, gotta take the good with the bad. Our Pedraza 83. What position would you reinforce to make the Galaxy better? All of them.
Center back, midfield.
For me personally, I think the center back position should be addressed immediately as soon as you can. I love Maya Yoshida for what he's done for this club, but I think he is not the right fit for what we want to do moving forward, and if we want to be one of those teams that moves MLS forward.
I also think it's hard. It's something that I've mentioned before in Galaxy group chats that it bothers me because I used to I play defense towards the end of my playing days, and I noticed that MLS doesn't like to invest in quality defenders. There's the rare occasion where like it's a player like a Rowan Berkey gets a DP contract, and you can see the difference of having a goalkeeper like that, right? A Brad Stuber or a Zach Steffen. I mean, although he has his ups and downs, but when you invest in a good defender, a good defense, I'm sorry, a good goalkeeper, it's a big difference. Galaxy hasn't had a good goalkeeper, God, since like 2014, right?
Yeah.
It's been a decade. We haven't had a good defense since like 2014, I want to say.
Well, I mean, we had Leonardo. That was fucking garbage. He only
No,
turned it
but
up. He only
no,
turned it
but
up for that final.
no,
He
but I'm
was
just saying, we
garbage.
had Juninho, we
Yeah,
had Omar
we've had Omar
Gonzalez when they were
Gonzalez.
still
Yep.
good. We had Todd Donovan. I mean, these were all good players, man.
Jelly Van Dam when he was here in the bad
Yeah,
season. Players like that.
but it's been a while since Galaxy had like we could say, oh, this is a lockdown defender, somebody you could feel confident about a game in, game out, or a goalkeeper. It's been a while. These are things that I really wish that you could focus on because you already have the pieces up top, but it just get some good defenders in there and let the offense figure itself out, so that way you don't have to worry about giving up a ton of goals and having to score a ton of goals to try to win games.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the caveat to this season is the fact that we will have Ricky Pooch healthy for the next season. And I think with Nacimento's nastiness going on in this season, he'll be able to get more repetitions and be the forward that could replace Brugman. As far as in the center midfield and replacing Delgado, there's still a lot of work there, but I don't see why Fagundes couldn't fill that role. He's been able to do that in the last back-to-back wins that we had this season. And of course, we're going to see what happens with Marco Royce. That's a TAM spot that we could have open for maybe somebody younger that could, give us that extra oomph going forward. So there's a lot of positives going into next season. I think this season, play the kids, I would say. But I don't, they were 6-time champions. I think everybody still, you could ask anybody in MLS, especially the people the teams that haven't won anything. If you were to tell them, hey, 2024 is going to be your year to get your first championship, but the following year you will be at the bottom of the table. 95% of all those teams will say, I'll take it. So let's keep that in mind and keep being not positive this season, but
no,
have
you gotta
hope.
stay positive, man.
Yeah,
But
have hope.
before we address the super chat, I did want to talk about that just real quick because you mentioned that right now. And I was thinking about that last night. And after because afterwards I went to go get something to eat, and I was thinking about like what some of the guests that we've had on the midweek show say were like, if somebody told us you're going to win MLS Cup in the next year, you're going to be absolute trash. Uh, would you be okay with that? And then they're like, yeah, hell yeah, I do it in the at the drop of a dime. But I'm thinking, why can't we be like a Columbus Crew where you win a MLS Cup and the next year, you're still competitive and you're in the playoffs, but you're not absolute trash. That's all we asked for. I mean, like I said, we didn't think Galaxy was going to go back to back, but why can't just remain competitive? What's wrong with that? But oh
Yeah,
well,
no, I,
we
I,
move on.
yeah, I totally understand that. And to Tony's point, Red Bull fans didn't feel that way. Well, yeah, because they haven't won shit. So,
Well,
but they did
okay,
smash us 7-0. Let's get
yeah.
to the super chat because Adam really wants Ricky Pooch to get healthy quick. This is where we come to the end of the show because we were going to address this. Edgar, when is the midweek show?
This week, well, I haven't set it up yet, but I can almost guarantee it will happen on Wednesday. We're gonna have our buddy Colin Toro, who covers Houston Dynamo. He's a really nice guy. He has a very flexible schedule. So I will reach out to him, and once I confirm everything, I will let you guys know. Just keep a lookout for, like I said, our buddy Colin Toro from the Keeping Tabs podcast, covers Houston Dynamo. Really good guy. So look forward to that.
By the way, Edgar, I want to give you one of these.
Thank you.
You've been doing great with these midweek shows, and I've been very entertained producing these shows because you guys always talk about great stuff, and I think it's very informative to have other people from other podcasts come on and talk their shit or whatever it is and just chop it up with you in a professional way because I am not professional. I talk shit, I cuss, fuck, poop, whatever it is, you know what I mean? But you're the more professional one, and dude, I always have fun producing those shows. So thank you from my end that you do that, and hopefully everybody enjoys those.
Thank you.
Um, but I think that does it for us here at News Across the Galaxy. Edgar, anything else before we take off?
No, just everyone be safe out there. Look out for each other. And LA Galaxy's not out of it completely. We have Leagues Cup looking. I mean, I really don't like Leagues Cup, but it's
Hey,
something.
it's a moment for trophies. It's a moment for us to get back into the Champions League, which is a big club thing, right? We want to get to winning another one.
Oh, $2 super chat, baby. Let's
Dude, I'm
go.
telling you, Adam wants Ricky's fucking knee to heal real quick. we'll get to see Jonathan Bond again. Wait, Friday.
Oh my God! Can you imagine if Houston Dynamos like they grab him, they shake him. This is your chance. Get some revenge, and they just like whoop him up, and like in The Simpsons where they have those dogs in a like in the cage, and they're like, I haven't fed these dogs in like several days. I don't know, Chief. They look kind of mad, and they let them out. And they start mauling Chief Quimby. That's how they have Jonathan Bond right now. They have him in a little cage, and they're poking him. They haven't fed him. And he comes the LA
Stop
Galaxy.
it. No, stop it. Stop.
We're gonna unleash Jonathan Bond on them. Let's go.
Hey, but you know what? He always gives you one.
He always gives him one, so you never know.
But we're
if you're
gonna
Jonathan Bond, wouldn't you want sweet revenge against the Galaxy?
100%.
There you go.
There it is. 3 own goals. Let's go, Jonathan Bond. Once a G, always a G. Edgar, where can the people find you?
Yeah, it's gonna find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky as Edgar Nags. Right.
All together. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do this again with the music because last time I put it too loud. So let's see how it goes right now. Here we go. You can find me as Brian Nags on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you everybody who tuned in tonight for News Across the Galaxy. We truly do appreciate you guys. That applause was for everybody listening and everybody that tunes into the MidWeek show, because Edgar, you do a great job, to be honest. That does it from us here at News Across the Galaxy. From Edgar Zuniga, myself, Brian Lobo, we're gonna get up out of here. And Edgar, what do we always say? Keep on nagging and
keep on nagging, baby, and Wu-Tang for life.
keep on nagging.